I found out why my dog keeps barking at the window late at night. My dog Max is almost 6 years now. He's always been a calm, easygoing boy, the kind of dog who lets you know if someone's at the door, then flops down for a belly rub once you tell him everything's fine. He's never been much of a barker, and I've always taken it as a good sign that he only makes noise when there's a reason. That's why I couldn't ignore it when the barking started. It was about a month ago, always around 2 or 3 in the morning. I'd be just about asleep, and suddenly Max would go off, sharp and frantic. Not his usual someone's walking past bark. This was desperate, panicked, the kind of bark that makes your stomach drop before you even know why. Every time I'd get up, check the windows, check the front yard, even the backyard. There was never anything there. No animals, no branches tapping the glass, nothing out of place. Still, Max would stand stiff-legged at the back door, barking at the dining room window like his life depended on it. I tried everything. Closing the curtains, leaving a light on, sitting with him until he calmed down. But no matter what I did, as soon as I went back upstairs, the barking would start again, sharp bursts, then long pauses, like he was waiting for something to move. I kept telling myself it was a fox or some stray cat he could smell, something out there I just couldn't see. But Max wasn't barking at the yard. He was barking at the window itself. 2 weeks in, I was wrecked. 3 hours of sleep a night if I was lucky. I was barely functioning at work, and at home, I was starting to flinch at every creak the house made. Even during the day, Max would drift over to the dining room, stare at the curtains, then wander away again like he was expecting something to be there. Then one night, I forgot to draw the dining room curtains before bed. I'd been too tired after a long shift at work, and it slipped my mind. When the barking started around 2 a.m., I was already half awake. I was halfway down the stairs before I realized the house felt colder than usual. Max was standing in the middle of the living room, completely still, body tense, ears flat against his head. His whole body was rigid, but his mouth was shut instead. A low growl rolled from his chest, deep enough that I felt it more than heard it. I followed his gaze. There was a face in the dining room window. It was pressed against the glass, just inches away, too pale, the skin stretched too tightly over the bones beneath. But it was the eyes that stopped me cold. They weren't just staring into the house, they were locked directly on me. Wide, bulging, too round for the face they were set in. The white seemed almost gray, veined with something darker, and the irises were a washed-out yellow, like old paper left in the sun too long. They didn't blink, didn't move, just held my eyes in place like it was waiting to see if I'd come closer. The mouth was stretched into something almost like a smile, but too eager, too sharp at the edges, like it was trying to mimic a human expression but couldn't quite get it right. Max let out another low growl, louder this time, vibrating in the space between us, and I broke. My hand slammed into the light switch, and the second the room flooded with light, the face was gone. I ran outside, barefoot, heart pounding so hard I felt it in my throat. The yard was empty. The street was still. No footprints, no sign anyone had been there. Just silence, thick, heavy silence, and the cold, damp air clinging to my skin. When I came back inside, Max hadn't moved. He was still standing there, trembling all over, eyes locked on the window even though the curtain was now drawn. It took me 3 tries to get him to follow me upstairs, and even then, he only came because I begged him. That was 2 weeks ago. Max hasn't barked at night since. In fact, he won't go near that window anymore. During the day, he gives it a wide berth, skirting around the edges of the room like something. Still there, even though I can't see a thing. At night, the curtains stay drawn, they always will now, and I'll never forget to draw them again.